what caught my eye is there was a feature of this house that I have never before featured on the radio show before in 10 years. To think about spending double the amount of time for the same result, that adds up over the course of 6-8 months, I imagine.
Right here on News Talk 870.
Good morning. This is Lance Kenmore with the Kenmore team, and I'd like to welcome you to this week's edition of the Tri-Cities Real Estate Update. As always, you can contact me, Lance Kenmore, anytime direct on my cell phone at 727-8977, or visit us on the web at kenmoreteam.com. Once again, I always like to thank John for hosting and everybody here at the station for working to make this happen. Mr. John McKay, how you doing over there?
Doing pretty good. You got a new haircut.
Yeah, as in I didn't get one. Yeah, I had to go buy more gel because I just get poofy.
Okay, it's not a haircut. Your hair looks longer.
Yeah.
Hippie?
Yes, I've always kept it very, very short, but I had to join in the pandemic craziness and stop cutting it. In fact, somebody walked in the other day, a newer agent on our team, and said, Lance, I don't think I've ever seen your hair this long. And sitting beside me was Jeremy on our team, and he's the longest team member. I think he's been here like 10 years, maybe. I mean, he's been here a long time. He looked at the newbie and said, try never have we seen this. So yeah, we're setting records left and right. Hair, real estate, here you go. So no, it's been another crazy one. Thank you for putting up with an encore last week. We were leaving town, and as real estate happens, we had a little real estate emergency during our radio record time. So rallied the troops, got some movers, and helped pack up some stuff. So I hadn't had to cancel in a long time on you, McKay. So thanks for being quick with the replay there.
Absolutely. Well, people still learned a lot in case they missed the show the first time.
Absolutely. And then I snuck away for a little trip. It was kind of our first time being out of the office for more than 2 days since the pandemic. And
wow.
We went up to the mountains and socially distanced with Sasquatch, and it was fantastic. It was great to get away. So, but we're right back at it, and so I wanted to jump in with our topics today and our regular scheduled spots. And today's topic, since I was gone to the mountains, I thought for our celebrity real estate story, I would feature a mountain home in Aspen that recently hit the market. So it was built by a venture capitalist from Florida, Lawrence DeGeorge, and he built this house. He bought it into the land in Aspen in 2009 for $16 million.
Just the land. And
then he spent 3.5 years building the house, which is now back on the market for $49 million. But what caught my eye is there was a feature of this house that I have never before featured on the radio show before in 10 years, which I think is something raises your eyebrows a little bit when you're like, I've never seen that. McKay, the master bedroom, since, Aspen is at a higher elevation,
yes,
and maybe a little bit harder to breathe, to make it easier while he was there from his normal Florida house, he has an oxygen system that pumps oxygen into the master bedroom to make it easier to breathe. And I was just like, this is a first. This is a first on the celebrity
news story.
You
could just go out and spend 2 or 3 days jogging and acclimate yourself to the higher altitude.
Or you could just buy this house for $49 million. So anyway, this place, I will tell you, minus that crazy fact, it is absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
Kind of a modern design, but fits in with the land. And yeah, I was drooling over that. I don't think I need the additional oxygen at this point, but if it would be there if I did need it. So
$49 million, that's got to be close to a record for a residential property on this show, is it not?
Well, it's really up there, and they were even saying in the article it's definitely going to be potentially record-setting even for Aspen, which has had a huge resurgence. They have been super busy. The wealthy, it's kind of like we had a news story earlier a couple months ago about the Hamptons having a resurgence. The wealthy now are really back into the second homes in lower population density areas, obviously because what we're going through right now. So you're seeing those markets have a big resurgence, and you might see something crazy with a price tag like that on there getting sold. Well, today's topic, one of the things I wanted to talk about is, and everybody's been asking over the course of the last 2 to 3 months as we have been in our high selling season, we've reported on the show that there's still been a lot of multiple offers on properties. Sellers are still able to maximize their return even during this pandemic. And as a matter of fact, if you go backwards, what's different now about selling, and how are we still able to get top dollar? So I invited Alex Burden in from my team onto the show. Alex is one of our listing specialists on the team and an expert at working with sellers and helping sellers get top dollar. Alex, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, Lance.
You betcha. Now, Alex wouldn't tell you this about himself, but over the last 5 or 6 years, he's consistently one of the top 10 resale listing agents in all of Tri-Cities. So out of 800 agents, he's always in the top 10 for resale. And you are really a listing specialist, meaning of all those sales, there's no buyer. There's hardly any buyer sides into that side of things.
That's right. Hardly any buyer sides. Just pretty
absolutely
much working with
and still one of the top 10 agents in the Tri-Cities for that. So congratulations on that. Thanks. It's an honor to have you on the team and on the show. I talk about things a lot on the show, but you're grinding it daily. You're seeing sellers every single week.
That's right.
Okay, so now I'm going to hit you with the tough questions, and everybody is asking and talking about that. I guess just from a standpoint of what we're dealing with, and people get nervous. There's talk about going back to phase one. I mean, I could tell you there's talk about everything, but right now there's a lot of talk about restrictions going back in place and going back to where we were, but how were you able to, and what was different about selling during phase one and what you've been doing?
Well, yeah, there's definitely been some changes. I think we've all been going through that. So on the listing side of residential real estate, there's definitely been a few things. Probably the first one I would mention is that there's only now 2 people allowed to be in a property at any one time, and that's including us as agents. So I going in to meet with someone that wants to sell a home, I can only meet with one person. Now, occasionally it's only one person that's selling a property, but most of the time there's at least 2 people involved. So that means that I can only meet with one of them at a time. So how that generally plays out is I'm in the house getting a tour through the property with one of them while the other person is not there, not in the property. And then we sit down at the kitchen table like we would normally do. And I got to go through everything with that person. Then they switch and I've got to go through everything again with the next person. So that can be challenging.
And I mean, that's got to be strange. Here you've been doing real estate for, I've known you a long time, 15 years.
Yep.
And now it is, and that's got to be a hard phone call to make. Ring, ring, Kenmore team. Hey, we want you guys to sell our house. You're now calling them and they're like, Alex, come out, see our house. Let's take you through it and tell us what you think. And on that phone call, you're having to say, well, I'm going to come out to your house that you live in and mask up and be safe, but I need one of you to leave.
Yes.
And I imagine those are tough calls to make sometimes.
Yeah, especially when there's kids involved. It's like, hey, kids aren't in school. I've got them here. How's that going to work? I'm like, I don't know, but we've got to figure that out.
We've got to figure that out. So we need an extended trip to the local park when it's 105 degrees out so that you can make your presentation. Okay. But obviously, I mean, I've seen the numbers. I know the numbers. You're finding a way to make it work.
Definitely. Yep. People are still moving. People still need to sell, transition in their life, need a bigger house, smaller house. A new job, those types of things are still happening.
Okay, so you get through that presentation, you've got agreement to sell. They know what the process is like. What else is different now that you're dealing with?
Well, with our team's setup, we have people that specialize in coming out and getting the home on the market, which is the high quality photos, creating a 3D blueprint of the property. They need to get to know the property so that we can properly market it and sell it. So generally when our listing coordinators go out, they're meeting with the sellers. And so, because the sellers know the most about the property, that can inform us so we can best sell it. And in this situation, they're not able to meet with the seller. They have to go out there, be there by themselves, which is fine. We can do that, but they can't be there, have that face-to-face interaction with the seller. So that's definitely a difference that we're seeing.
Yeah, to get that communication, because in the past, they'd be there with the photographer and they'd be interacting and touching different things and pointing out and showing. And so we have to find new ways to communicate that through note-taking, additional phone calls. And I think a lot of times right now is we're just seeing the different levels of phone calls, the increased amount of time that it takes to do that. A lot of these businesses are talking about operating on a different level of profit margin. I mean, you're now telling me for the same result of listing that house, you've spent now twice as much time in that property than you normally would with presenting 2 times or maybe presenting 3 times. I mean, that would be like somebody here going to the car wash. They run the car through, it's clean, and they're like, you know what? It's COVID. We're just going to run that baby through again and present again. So so then that's less opportunity for you to go out and get other new business. I mean, to think about spending double the amount of time for the same result, that adds up over the course of 6-8 months, I imagine.
Yeah, it does. It's definitely taking longer to get most things done. I know in real estate we're not unique to that, but that's definitely what we're dealing with.
And then afterwards, so now you've got the house on the market and you've got showings to contend with.
Yeah, so when people want to come and see the property, they've got the same rules to abide by. So the buyer's agents and the buyers, they can only come through one at a time with their agent masked up. And so that takes time, because if you've got multiple people, sometimes people want to have other family members or kids come with them because kids aren't in school. They need them to be with them. So now a showing is taking longer. So now the seller's got to be out of the house longer. If there's pets or other kids involved for the seller, everyone's got to accommodate this longer showing time frame.
Okay. And so setting these expectations, going through all of that, I mean, you've still been able to not only get it done, but thrive in this marketplace. What do you think the key difference to pushing through that as an agent and for you individually, like, how did you make that work with everything else that was going on?
It takes time. It takes planning.
I heard that little laugh there. Yeah, time and plan. I mean, you've been grinding.
Yeah, it definitely takes. Things are operating differently. We have to change how we think about things moving forward. And so, yeah, we're having to adapt every day because things are changing constantly. It's very dynamic, and so it's just a lot more attention on things that we normally, we would take that for granted in the past. We wouldn't have to do those things or think about things in a certain way. Absolutely.
Good. That's a great answer. And, well, I know we appreciate everything that you've done for all of our sellers out there and everything that you've been able to accomplish with all of the restrictions in place. It's really admirable unbelievable. And so thank you for taking care of our listeners and doing that. I know a lot of the listeners to the show, you've been to their houses, the referrals that come in for sellers. There's a good chance that Alex is one of those guys that's going out. When we come back from the break, because the market has been so hot, I know you've been dealing with multiple offers. And so when we come back from the break, we're going to talk to Alex Burden about the best way to maximize your return in a multiple offer situation.
Right here on News Talk 870.
Welcome back to the Tri-Cities Real Estate Update. Today we've been talking about listing and selling homes to maximize dollars in basically in the pandemic, in the restricted phases that we're still in. And that hasn't slowed, and people still need to sell. And quite honestly, the prices are fantastic right now that they're able to get. And one of the things that we've been seeing a lot of is what happens in a low inventory market. And a lot of times we find ourselves in the multiple offer position. So I brought Alex Burden, listing specialist from my team, in to talk about that. And Alex, you've been dealing with these sales and a lot of multiple offers this year.
Yeah, we definitely have. With the market being what it is, moving fast, low inventory, which is not anything new, but yeah, we're definitely seeing the multiple offer situations continue.
So when that happens, I mean, I know your goal is to maximize your return for your seller, but what type of strategies are you guys using in multiple offers?
Well, it just depends. There's a few you can use. There's the predominant one that we use, which is what we refer to as highest and best. And that's when you get more than one offer and you let the other agents know that, hey, we've got multiple offers. We're going to give you until tomorrow at 5 p.m. to change your offer or any new offers coming in. And then we're going to review all offers at that time and make a decision.
So you're basically making that call probably early on in a new listing, but it could also be 20, 30 days down the road. But likely you have a new listing that hits the market, low inventory, you get 5 showings. So you get that first offer, and then another agent calls and says, hey, I'm bringing you an offer also. And so then you're talking to your seller and you're saying, okay, let's set a deadline that they have to bring the highest and best. And from the seller's standpoint and from your standpoint, what are you hoping happens during that time period?
We're hoping that we get everyone to increase their offer to as good as possible. And in this situation, the other agents, the buyers, don't know what the other offers are. So in a way, they're bidding against themselves in their own mind to say, okay, what's the max we're willing to go to get this property?
Right. And if they don't know what the other offer could have been, $3,000 below list price, but if it's the first day, you're probably assuming it's pretty close to full price.
Yeah, it definitely depends when in the marketing time frame. Is that first day, first couple days, then generally you're going to get those offers coming in quick, and people are going to be bringing in that full price offer for that first offer, thinking, hey, we'll get that offer in quick, we'll get it off the market and wrap it up, and no one else can get it.
And then you get the second offer.
Then you get the second offer, and we speak with our client and kind of give them some options and advice and let them make their decision as to what they'd like to do. But again, that's the predominant strategy, especially if, say, it's the first day on the market, we get an offer, from the first showing a few hours in. We want to set that deadline out a little bit. So we want to give other buyers a chance to come out and look at the property. And so we don't want to set a quick deadline.
So it's like, how long can I string along this first offer? You're a savage, Alex. Working for your seller. Okay,
exactly.
Gotcha. Now, we always ask, with any of those scenarios that are presented, is there a risk or downside to that?
There is, and it does depend, again, where you're at with the marketing time frame. If your example, 20, 30 days in and you get multiple offers as opposed to the first couple days. So a risk would be that some people don't want to get into a bidding war. They don't want to be competing, so they don't make that offer. Or they've made an offer, they find out other offers come in, and they back out.
Gotcha. So you could be standing there with, you had 2 offers, you go to highest and best, and then you have 0 offers the next day if they both backed out.
Potentially. Usually not.
And especially if it's early, like if it's the first day or 2, right?
Yeah, generally the first couple days, you're not going to get both parties or all parties to back out. You might get one, but then again, how serious were they if at the first sign of adversity they were going to back out?
True. You bring up a great point there. So that strategy being highest and best, what are some of the other strategies you've been employing or you've seen employed that also can be highly advantageous to the sellers?
Well, you can negotiate with just one party and let the others sit on the sideline. And while you negotiate with that other party, a reason to do that might be, say, you have a cash offer or someone that's putting a significant amount of money down. With that type of a buyer, you have less risk of certain things happening financially. Or if you're getting into a multiple offer situation, people want to bid up the price over the list price, and then we have concerns about the appraisal. So maybe we want to let the other 1, 2, 3 offers kind of wait while we try to see if we can get the best deal with this cash or buyer that's got a significant amount of money to put down.
So you might be looking at, say, a cash offer, 10,000. You might be looking at a financed offer that's 10,000 over the list price. The cash offer just came in at list price, but you're saying to yourself, if I could get that cash offer up even 5,000 or 6, that's going to be better for me. Bird in the hand, done deal, short closing. So you're ignoring the other offers and just trying to leverage the cash offer up.
Exactly. Let them know, hey, we've got other options, but we'd prefer to work with you and see if we can work out something that's beneficial for the seller.
Now, I do know, I'm sure you get this all the time, where the other agents are calling you and they're like, hey, Alex, what do I need to do to be the best offer? What's the price you guys are looking for? I mean, how do you handle those calls?
It depends if where in the process we're at with the seller. Have I spoken with them yet? Have we had that conversation about, hey, what would you like me to do if I get someone asking about, what are the other offers or in a multiple offer situation? So if I haven't had that conversation with the client yet, then I just have to tell that other agent that seller hasn't authorized me to discuss the terms of any offers yet. But if I have spoken with the seller, they may have said, nope, don't let anyone know what anyone else offers. Just let them make their offer. Or maybe they've said, hey, yeah, tell them this is what it's going to take. And so it's really up to our client, up to the seller to give us that.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that if your seller has said, yeah, you know what? I like these people. I want to encourage them to make an offer. So yeah, tell them the other offer is $260, and if they come in at $262, it's theirs. Mm-hmm. I mean, not a strategy we see all of the time, but we have seen it. And so yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that when you make that offer, that those terms are no longer private. When that offer's been delivered to your seller, that offer, it could be shared with other parties.
It can, definitely.
Well, those are very, very interesting strategies, and I would definitely, like I said, I would definitely want you on my side of the table when I'm doing that negotiating. So that is great. I do want to get, speaking of properties, I do want to get in a quick pick 3 this week. We have some amazing inventory out there that you can put offers in that, as of recording, I do not believe had multiple offers, and even if they did, we could figure that out. But Pick number 1, 1912 South Edison. This is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath with an office in Creekstone. So 2,800 square feet. And this house has gone through and been fully updated and remodeled. It feels like new. You've got a great room with a gas fireplace, gourmet kitchen that has a large island, granite countertops, high-end stainless steel appliances, oversized walk-in pantry, double engineered hardwood flooring and tile on the main level, and then plush carpet upstairs in the bedrooms. I mean, this house is just absolutely gorgeous and very well done. Fully fenced backyard, covered patio with a water feature for those hot days that we're experiencing. And this place is move-in ready. And that's coming in at $449,900.
Wow.
I mean, so you're really taking advantage of a massive remodel. They spent more in the remodel. You're getting a deal here on this. So great property. Pick number 2 that I've got, 3566 Regent Street in Richland. This is that South Richland location. 3-bedroom, 2-bath with an office, stucco rambler in Brookshire Estates. This is just over 2,500 square feet. Quiet neighborhood, beautiful curb appeal. You've got a split bedroom design, so you get the private master on one side, the other 2 bedrooms on the other. Fully fenced yard, storage shed, tons of space, plenty of space. You could add your own quarantine garden, as I like to call it. And you've got walking distance to a neighborhood fishing pond, great community park, and very, very close to White Bluffs Elementary. And that's coming in at $429,900. So great property. And then pick number 3, 715 North Quillan Street in Kennewick. This is also a newly remodeled 4-bedroom, 3-bath West Kennewick home, 2,564 square feet, laminate wood flooring throughout. You've got shiplap accent walls. Joanna Gaines has been in there putting their mark on this place. Kitchen has pantry, secondary dining space. Lower level has a slider out to the backyard with a huge laundry room. Upper level master suite has dual closets and a 3-quarter bath, and just absolutely storage galore in this property. Fully fenced backyard, also open RV parking. And speaking of RV parking, someone told me like RV sales are up like 150%.
They're up big time.
So if you are one of those people that have purchased the RV, we have the house for you to put it in.
Well, there's more reason to buy it.
Absolutely. Great location, close to schools, amenities, great property. And that's coming in that Kennewick location, $335,000. So There's still some great property out there. Thank you to Alex on the team for going out, listing these amazing properties, giving buyers inventory to look at. And Alex, thanks for being a part of the show today and giving us tips on how to get your house sold for maximum value.
Oh, it's been great. Thanks for having me.
And we will be right back here next week.
Right here on News Talk 870.